Today I'm doing the part two of the politician talk that I was doing and spirituality. I actually have some names that I've written down that I want to talk about, but it just depends if I may talk about all of them or just speak of few of them. Before I start talking about these presidents and prime ministers and politicians, I want to tell you something about why we should live a good life and why meditation and prayer can come in very, very handy. In when I was staying in this shared accommodation or a shared 3 BHK, one of the girls left the gas open and she forgot to turn the knob off. And because I was at home, I got the gas smell and I switched it off. And I told her, look, you need to be more careful. The knob, you left it open. And she said that time the gas was not there. And then someone, maybe later on the gas came. So it was a pipeline gas, piped gas where you get a bill and a meter. And I let it go off as one of incidents where okay, she put it on and then she forgot. And then I told this to the other flatmate and I said, look, she left the gas on the other day like this. And how horrible thing to do, like to forget like this. And I was just chit chatting with her. But I believed I had to tell her because these are not the things you can be casual about. After that, every now and then in the morning, I would get the whiff of gas on, and I would go and see the gas is slightly on. I confronted both of the girls, flatmates, and I said, look, I got a whiff of gas in the morning. One of you did not switch off the gas properly last night. So one of them says, oh, I checked double. So the other girl to whom I had informed that the gas was left open by the other girl. So that girl, the second girl, she says, oh, I double check every night and I put the regulator off, I put this off, that off. And the first girl who had actually once forgotten or left the gas open, she said, yeah, last night when I came, I saw the gas was open. I said, if you saw the gas is, knob is little bit open, why didn't you close it? She said, I did. I said, you didn't because I got a whiff of gas leaking in the morning. She said, I don't know. After that, we had too many instances of someone just leaving the gas open. And I said, this is not happening as a mistake or a memory problem. I said, someone is putting the knob open. And I'm very, very worked up because it's just matter of time someone may just die with the that gas smell. So no matter how much I kept asking, the first girl who had once forgotten, she kept saying, no, I had closed the knob. I never left it open even by accident. The second girl would always say, I double check it and I close the knob properly. I said, then who's leaving the gas knob slightly open in the night? Because in the morning, every now and then, I would get a whiff and I would see knob is very slightly open. And And they would both say, I don't know, I don't know. And I suspected the first girl who had forgotten to once, who had just left the knob open or forgotten to put the knob off. I suspected her of being you know not up to the mark, or making doing this. But then she wasn't admitting it, so I didn't know what to do with it. Then one day I had a dream, and in that dream I saw two fingers, like this, the thumb and the index finger. So it's pitch dark. The dream was, so I'm just telling you the dream exactly how I saw it. In the pitch dark, I see two fingers, but there is a small light as a circle around this much area where I can just see the two fingers, and those two fingers are slightly opening the regulator. And that's it. That's the dream. In the complete darkness, that there was light only on these two fingers and the fingers moving the regulator. See, the journey to be a psychic and to start interpreting dreams and visions is a challenge and exhausting journey in itself. So when I saw this dream, one, I didn't automatically link it to what was happening in our flat. I just kept saying, whose were those two fingers? What is this supposed to mean that someone is opening the regulator? And mind you, maybe I can draw and show you. No, leave it. Somebody was moving the regulator tiny bit, tiny bit. Those two fingers were moving it tiny bit. And this is where I got very upset. It's almost like someone doesn't want the other person to know or get the whiff too fast, but they want the gas to keep leaking so that it spreads a good deal. I said, but who, where? I didn't automatically link it to my two roommates in the house, because then I was not, I couldn't stamp and say I'm a psychic. I was getting visions and dreams, and I stamped that I'm a psychic after that, much after that. But this is the beginning of me being a psychic and starting to get answers through dreams and visions, because I'm searching for the answer so badly. Who's leaving the knob open? Do you know that every now and then I would get a whiff in the morning of gas leaking, and I would run and see the regulator is slightly open, and I would go and close it. So I had this dream where I just saw the two fingers moving the regulator in a very small movement. That's it, very slight angle. That's it. They didn't open the knob in a big way, in a very small angle. So the gas was leaking like a very small. And as I said, I wasn't a psychic then. I'm still starting to get visions and dreams, and I'm still yet to interpret them correctly immediately. After maybe about a year or 8 months after that, quite many months after that, not sorry, year, after I think about 2 years, after 2 years, I get a dream where I am standing in the dark outside my room. So we had a setup in a way where the kitchen was common, and we had three rooms, and there's a common living area. So in the dream starts with me standing in the common area, and I'm looking around, and it's silent and quiet, and I see the second girl whom I had informed that the first girl or the first flatmate had forgotten to put the gas off or knob off. So the second girl to whom I had informed, I saw her in pitch dark and silence open the door and come out. This is a dream. And she's tiptoeing, literally walking on her toes. And then she stops outside my room for 2 seconds, looks in the direction of my room, and tiptoes into the kitchen. And I'm in the dream, standing in the living room, looking at her. Of course, she can't see me. And I see her go to the kitchen, and I see the exact same movement of two fingers moving the regulator slightly. The answer got delivered to me by this universe. Do I want to beat that girl up? Yes. Is she mentally unstable? Yes. If you want to know what does she do, she's a MD, she's a doctor. Anyhow, so this is how dreams and visions start to give answers to me. If I ask a question through a dream, I get an answer delivered to me. So anyways, so the reason why I'm telling you this is because some of you who don't have any psychic experiences or psychic visions and dreams don't know how powerful these answers are, or these dreams and visions are, when the answers get delivered to you. So I'm coming back to the politicians and the talk about politicians. The two are not connected. This experience which I'm telling you is which I told you is about how powerful the dreams and visions are, and they will come around and give you an answer. My time is running out. I can't believe it. This is 15 minutes of talk that I have done. So let me just talk about I thought of talking about other prime ministers and presidents. I will just talk about, instead of them, I will talk about Taliban, which is ruling the Afghanistan as an administrator. So I had a dream about Taliban, and I got scared. First I got scared, but then when I saw the dream, I was okay. So the dream was, there is a school, and I'm a young girl. I was, when I saw myself in the dream, I'm about maybe 13, 14, and I'm wearing a white frock, and the frock was till my knee length or slightly above the knee, and I'm on the swing. I'm playing on the swing, and there are some kids who are playing on that merry-go-round which we have in the playground. So there is, the next to the swing is the playground, and there are kids playing there who are younger to me, and there's a lot of ruckus and noise they are making. Even I'm shouting while I'm on the swing playing, and we are not in a uniform. They were in some colored clothes. I'm in my frock and dress. And the floor was very cemented and clean. And because there's so much noise, I suddenly saw a person dressed like a Taliban, how they're dressed, walking with the gun. And it was a school. And he was laughing or smiling. He was not angry, he had no intent to kill, or he wasn't violent. And I remember saying shh shh to all the other kids that don't make noise, don't make noise. They take kids away and punish the kids who make noise. So this is the dream I had got about Taliban. And the Talibani person was in his pajama kurta, what they wear, brownish, grayish, and he had a gun behind him. But as I said, he had no intention to kill or be violent. He was just there to scare. So, what I've been talking, that Taliban will be moving out of Afghanistan as an administrator. It will. This was a confirmation dream that came to me. And they will just be there to scare kids, to make sure they don't make noise. And their system of, the dresses that women wear, of burqa and being fully covered head to toe, will not be there. So people would be in different kind of clothes, or stuff like that. I did see. So since I was in a frock, being a 12, 13-year-old girl, I I know how Afghanistan is going to change and get back to how it used to be before. This was one dream. The other vision that I had was from my artwork, where I have drawn a skull. So I will search if I get that artwork. I will put it here, and otherwise, I'll just talk about it. So the dream was started with me having a aerial view of a building which looked like a skull. And when I saw one, I got very scared, and I said, what the hell is this? A skull? Somebody's built a skull as a building. Why would somebody cement and build a skull? And there was a lot of greenery around. The sky was beautiful and blue, but that skull was very scary. And as in the aerial view, I'm going near that skull shaped building, I see it's actually a residential apartment just designed like a skull. And it was actually a beautiful residential apartment. It had, in the balcony, it had potted plants, on the balcony. And it was very well painted. The area around was so green. And, it was such a nice setup. It's just that the building was in the shape of a skull. And that skull, and I kept asking myself for the longest time, why was the building in the skull when it's all greenery around? Even the building, other than its shape, it was so beautiful, well painted, beautiful, so nice plants, windows, and people staying there. It was a residential building. I kept asking, why was it in the shape of a skull? And then I recognized the skull from my artwork which I had drawn, and it was almost like a exact copy what they had made as a building. So there are good times coming from for Afghanistan, and these answers got sent to me through dreams and visions. So since I was going to talk about politicians and prime ministers, and because of the example, I'm running out of time, I just decided to talk about another administrator, which is Taliban, but they're going out, and they won't be ruling Afghanistan for too long anymore. So it's just a countdown now, and it should happen anytime.